Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you guys are. My name is Ashley Green, and this is the Successful Mentalist podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about online presence. But before we crack on with things, I just want to welcome my good friend and co-host, Aidan O'Sullivan. Hello.
Hello, yes, today is a very interesting episode. It's taken quite a lot of thought to even work out what to share because the topic itself is so vague, it's so vast, we could talk and take it in like a million directions, but I think the approach that we're going to take today is we're going to try and, as is the Successful Mentalist way, condense it right down to a couple of clear, actionable points that you can take away that you may or may not already know. So I think probably the first point, we'll start with the absolute basics and then grow and expand on that. So the first point that I particularly want to talk about is actually having being present on lots of different platforms in the same way. So actually having your own social media handle. Now I'm aware that a lot of our listeners will already sort of have their own Facebook pages and their Instagrams and Twitters and all of that set up. So the important point I want to make is that your handle should try and be the same everywhere. So, for example, on the Successful Mentalist, you can find us on YouTube by searching for The Successful Mentalist. You can find us on Facebook by searching for at the little at symbol, The Successful Mentalist. You can find us on Instagram by searching for at The Successful Mentalist. Twitter's a slight compromise because it doesn't like really, really long ones, so it's that we're just at TS Mentalist. But the idea here is that you're able, having all of this the same, our website as well, thesuccessfulmentalist.com, it's all clear and it's all the same everywhere. Because the most important point about this is that you've got to be in places that your audience are in ways that they can find you easily. Okay, so Ashley, is there anything that you want to kind of expand on that just before I take it a little further?
Well, no, it's a good point. I mean, people should be able to Google you. Like, imagine if they just so happen to stumble across your business card and they knew nothing about you. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to go on Google and type your name in. If they can't find you from that name on the business card, then there's something wrong there. It needs to be easy for your audience to find you online. And I think that is a key message which you guys need to consider.
It's incredibly important because there's only one thing that's worse than having an actual potential client looking for you on social media and not being able to find you. It's them not being able to find you, not because you're not on those platforms, but because you're a completely different name. You've got to be the same place everywhere for brand consistency. And again, that's quite an intricate topic that, again, could be taken in a million and one ways. But if you're the same and you've got the same branding and you've kind of got the same for the handle and then the titles everywhere, you're going to be easy to find on any platform. And when people start hearing about you, they're able to search on Instagram and find you, or they're able to bring up Facebook and have a quick search and find your page, and they'll be able to do all of that stuff with ease, which is a huge point. And I know I'm pretty confident that we've mentioned it on a previous episode. Make everything easy for your audience, because then that way all they need to do is sit back, put their feet up and enjoy everything that you're giving them. I feel that's like a very brief summary of an absolute basic. I know most of our listeners have probably got that down already, but if you've not, you should be able to actually edit and change these and work it out from there. But I know you wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what we spoke about in the last episode of character and how that kind of plays in. So if you want to just jump in there.
Well, that easily links into being different online. And if you just do a little bit of research at the moment, look at all of the magicians, mind readers, whatever, or even other companies in your area, look how similar they might be to other people. And if you was going to book them from an independent basis, what makes one person stand out? Chances are they'll all be the same. It's up to you to find your own unique niche. It's up to you to be completely different on social media, on your website, because if you're different, then people are going to see that variety, and then it's a nice little unique thing which will only pay dividends later on, and you'll get more bookings from because of the variety. And that all starts with what we were saying last episode when it comes down to character. And I think when you understand who you are, what you want, and the kind of way you present stuff, that will help when it comes down to what you post on social media, the type of content you put out there, because you've identified the end goal. And now you're going to start putting out different content to all of these other magicians who might be also trying to get weddings, online shows, or whatever. Stand out, and it starts with understanding who you are.
Yeah, a brilliant point. Again, you might notice at this point, if you've been listening to our previous podcast entries, that everything we're doing, we're drip feeding information bit by bit in these bite-sized chunks so that you can start putting it together and collating this information. You have your purpose from episode 3. You have your character understood to a better degree, at least, from episode 5. You understand why and how and all of this, so that when you go online, you're able to literally just put anything that you feel matches those criteria and go from there. And again, I think it's worth throwing out there that social media, it's that social element, and you can share your character so much in many different ways online. You don't just have to post business. I mean, here's an important rule, and I don't know if many people follow it. You should be aiming for sort of the 80-20 rule on social media. So 80% of the time and 80% of the posts and the content that you're sharing should be just easily sort of consumable content for your audience, actually engaging content that they're going to interact with, and content that they would like to see, whether that's it could be anything. It could be like a blog post based about the specific target market that you're in, or it could just be quite simply a meme. I mean, on The Successful Mentalist, Ashley is chief meme creator. That's his job. You've probably seen them.
Role.
Yeah, it's an actual role. The idea here is that 80% of the time you should be trying to engage and communicate with your audience and give them information and give them value without selling yourself. That's important, because only the other 20% of the time, at the absolute most, I mean, I would personally argue that you should aim for a 90-10, but 80-20 is just a common sort of breakdown. 20% of that time, you should then be selling your services or promoting yourself as an entertainer or as a business and things. But ultimately, you don't want to just be plugging yourself all the time. And that's the huge mistake that I know I made. I'm pretty sure that Ashley made it as well early doors. Just trying to sell yourself isn't going to help. Yes, you might be on all of these social media platforms, but if you're just using it to plug your services, people aren't going to engage and people aren't going to sort of follow and support unless you've got this down to an absolute T, and you can do this really well. For the most part, it's going to be tough. So try and engage with people on these platforms and actually just build that relationship and build that rapport, so then you can actually convert them into gigs and bookings. And we'll talk more about how to do that at a later date. But I know Ashley's got some points actually on that RE TV and things.
Yeah, I mean, my YouTube channel, the reason why I do that, first of all, is I enjoy it. I like doing it, so that's why I want to do it. And I put out content, and at the moment I'm trying to put out regular content. I'm not worrying about that it's perfect and spending a whole week editing an episode. I'm just uploading it and putting it out there. And from putting out my content and putting out a lot of it, even though it's not amazing high quality, professionally edited.
Bless you.
Is that the right word?
Bless you. Well, yeah. I mean, not the way you said it, but yeah.
Yeah.
We know what you're going with.
Well, that word's gone from my mind now. Anyway, but you get the point. Even though it's, not professionally edited, got it now. I've got content up so people can view it, people can engage with it, and it just so happened that a producer stumbled across my work, really liked it, got in contact, and then ended up on TV. And I think that is a classic point of just going out there, putting stuff online. And this links into when you put your website up. Stop spending a year worrying about what you want to do. Stop spending hours and days worrying about the fact that something's not perfect. Aidan, you've got great points on this, and what was it you say? It's good enough or something like that with a person from
Oh
Facebook?
yeah. So Sheryl Sandberg is the COO of Facebook, and one of her iconic sort of sayings or mottos, if you like, is "Done is better than perfect."
There
Done
you
is
are.
better than perfect. You'd rather have a finished product than one that's still being put together.
Yeah. It's so easy to procrastinate and it's so easy to spend a lot of time putting things together. But, with the successful Mentalist, we launched our company in 8 days. 8 days.
It's
We
ridiculous,
put the
really.
website together, we planned everything in 8 days. There's people listening to this podcast now, I can guarantee it, who has probably spent 2 years trying to design a website and they've still not got it live yet. They're still thinking about posts to put on social media.
It
8 days
happens a
it took
lot.
us.
It happens a
Just do it.
lot. I mean, it's worth throwing out that this isn't necessarily a bad thing. We all ultimately end up in that position where we're second guessing our own work and our own information. Like, oh, should I put that? Oh, should I not? Oh, should I? But I kind of think this ties actually into a performance element. Just to sort of a slight tangent. The only real way to improve your performances and improve your shows and all of that is to actually communicate and talk to your audience after they see it, because they're the ones that experienced it, they're the ones that know it. I would exactly argue that the same thing is, well, it's identical for social media and your website and all of that kind of information. Literally give it to the people that are most likely to engage with it. If you've got a couple of clients already, just send them your new webpage and say, hey, I appreciate that this isn't something that I usually arrange, but would you be able to just take a little look at this specific web page and let me know what your thoughts are? Something as simple as that will give you far more knowledge and understanding over that specific web page than spending years looking through books and resources and like talking to other people to get their feedback. Literally just get it done and get it to the people that matter and go from there. Don't be afraid of just getting your content out there.
So yeah, I want to talk about obviously in terms of getting out there on social media. Aidan's got some great points on this. Of course, you've got to be active on these platforms, and you can honestly get a lot of work through it. I get inquiries through Facebook, through YouTube, not so much through Twitter, and I think Aidan's the same at the moment. But also Instagram. I get people messaging me through there. So, being active on these platforms is so important to just spend a little bit of time. But Aidan has some very interesting points about how he actually puts out content without wasting a lot of time. So why don't you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think this is probably a good point in the episode to announce that I do not like social media at all. I just really don't like it. I'm not going to go into that now because I could spend hours on that, but I don't really like social media for the most part. So if you're in the same mindset, or you don't even have the social media, what can you do? And this is where I have changed it up a little bit, and I've followed the advice of a lot of other people. And you can schedule your social media. You can schedule everything. You can schedule all of the posts. Like, I think a lot of websites and things as well nowadays. I know for our website, you can schedule specific pages and blog posts to go live at certain times. So you can schedule everything, not only to go out and be shared at peak time, so you're going to get the most engagement based off of the back of that. Because let's be fair, there's no point posting your Instagram at 3 a.m. when the majority of your audience is online between 6 and 7 p.m. at night, and you'll be able to actually find that through the analytics and stuff, which we'll probably talk about at a later date. But I don't like social media, so I schedule everything because I don't have all that time every single day to panic for content and think, oh, what can I post? Here's a picture of a deck of cards, and for the sake of it, like I don't do that. So what I do instead is, as I'm going through, I think of content ideas, and I also think of everything that I'm doing all the time as well, and think, how can I turn this into content? And I just make a note. And then when it comes down to actually content creation. I spend some time preparing all of this content for a long time in advance, maybe at least a week to 2 weeks minimum in advance. And then I prepare it all, and I use a third-party app to schedule it. So for Instagram, I use Hootsuite. We'll put the links to that in the show notes as well. So I use Hootsuite for my Instagram, and I also use the Pages app for Facebook. Both really, really handy resources to use and little apps to use to just get it all scheduled. I think Facebook's got its own integration now on the apps, but it's worth looking into if you don't have that time every single day to just sit and think of social media content, because I want to try and get off of socials as much as I can. But as Ashley said, being online is incredibly important. Just because I'm scheduling all of my posts doesn't mean I don't ever interact with everything, because that's important as well. If you're scheduling everything automatically, the algorithms and all of that jazz won't exactly appreciate that, because you're not engaging on their platform. So you will need to go online, you respond to comments and look for other people. I mean, I know, Ashley, you've mentioned before, maybe not on the podcast thinking about it, but you've mentioned about searching for hashtags specific to your business.
Yeah, so for example, people doing weddings, searching for hashtag weddings in Kent, if you're from Kent like I am, brides to be, and just not plugging and saying, oh, look at the link in my bio, I do wedding entertainment. No one's going to click that as spammy, but just engage and have a natural conversation.
Literally, that's the most important thing.
Then it'll open you up.
That's the most important thing. And again, it's worth throwing out that if you can be, the whole idea of searching for hashtag weddings and commenting on loads of those to try and don't do that lots, because you'll be seen as spammy and you have your account blocked for X amount of time. Instead, look for those specific hashtags, like you mentioned, weddings in Kent. That's a lot more specific, and then you can specifically comment and engage with the people that are your target audience and are your target market and all of that. And that's incredibly important. But don't plug yourself. Right? Like, don't do that. Don't overtly plug unless they ask, which is, it depends. This is something that you'll have to play around with. But ultimately, well, I guess what I'm trying to say with this is that social media is exactly that. It is social. And the whole idea is that you've got to try and find a way to communicate with people, to actually build this rapport and create this sort of community. I mean, that's what I try and do on my personal pages, my own business pages. Ashley does the same. We're doing it with TSM and also the TSM school and all of this kind of stuff. We're just trying to build that community and that social element. And that's what's going to not only look good for you and help boost your overall success on the platforms, but it's just going to help you out in terms of gigs and things like we've mentioned.
Did you just mention the school? Sorry to interrupt you there. So I thought we was meant to mention that next episode.
Can we cut it? No, we can't. I mean,
no. Yeah. Let's mention it now, seeing as you've leaked that again. Go on, Mr. Aidan, the leaking information to the listeners. Talk about the school of the successful mentalists.
Okay, right. Oh, this is embarrassing. Yeah. So, what the School of the Successful Mentalists is a side project that me and Ashley have been working on for a little while. In fact, it was pretty much the origins of the whole Successful Mentalist brand itself. It was an idea that we had that we couldn't quite fit in, and then it evolved to the Successful Mentalist, and now we're bringing it into the bracket. So, what is it? Myself and Ashley are going to be opening up an opportunity for students. We will be taking on a small handful of students that we will be giving committed and dedicated teaching and tuition and coaching to every single week. What we're planning to do is 20 minutes every single week. We're going to be going on a private call with each of these students individually to answer to your questions about anything. This could be creating a trick, a specific trick, a method. We're happy to discuss sort of methods and things. We're also going to be talking about your business. We're going to be talking about literally anything that you would like. And the idea here is that we want to bring this sense of community together, and we want to give you this more focused and streamlined learning. And we can't spend so long on this. I mean, I feel really awkward the fact that I've plugged this now, but we don't have hours and hours and hours in our day. And again, when eventually we go into the new normal, post-lockdown and everything, and our lives pick up again and we get busier and busier, we're not going to be able to take on 100 students and spend that time, spend all day, every day talking to these. So we are going to be only picking a small handful. And to do that, we're going to go through an application process. So we've got all the details on our website, thesuccessfulmentalist.com/school. You'll find all the information up there about what we're doing and how we can work with you. But we're going to be taking applications either via email. We've also got an application form on our website, which you can download and edit and just email to us if that's easier. But the idea is that we want to be selecting the people that we feel we can teach and help the best based on their position in magic and mentalism and also ours. That's really off the cuff. Is there anything else that I've missed?
Yes, there is. Because obviously we didn't plan to say this today. Essentially, it's not just weekly tuition you're going to be getting. There's a variety of different things. One of them, I don't want to say what it is until it's all official, but all I can say is it's absolutely incredible that both myself and Aidan have managed to pull off what is about to happen. I know that seems vague, but trust me on it, you won't be able to visualize what it is, but if you know as soon as you find out what it is, like, your minds will be blown. It's incredible. And this will only be exclusive for our students at the School for the Successful Mentalist, the School of the Successful Mentalist. There we go. I had this in one of the other episodes, a whole episode of me just going like blah 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 blah, slurring my words, and it's happening again. So yeah. Also, as well as weekly tuition from us, giving you advice, helping you grow as performers to get you out there and achieve your dreams where you want to be, we're going to be giving you exclusive content. So you're going to have that on top of the weekly tuition, and then the very special other things, which I won't mention, and please don't say them, Aidan. So
I promise I've leaked enough.
So yeah, all I say is it's something which obviously you're going to want to take part in. We're giving our time to you. With these handful of students, I just want to reiterate, there is no fee. It's free for those handful of students to join the School for the Successful Mentalists.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. Again, we've got lots of exclusive content lined up, stuff that we can't talk about, stuff that I'm definitely not going to mention. But we want to give this focused learning, and we'll have we'll have trainings as well. We'll give you extra support and extra content and personalized support and content. And we just want to really help you guys. And it doesn't matter what position you're in. If you're an absolute beginner, you stand an absolute equal chance to somebody who is a working pro. We're going to be selecting these based on the people that we feel we can help the most.
Yeah. Exactly that. So head over to obviously the website, have a look at the form you can download, the application form, and send that to thesuccessfulmentalist@gmail.com. All the details are on our website, and you can access that via the show notes on the podcast provider. Once again, the website is www.thesuccessfulmentalist.com. I think that probably wraps up this episode, wouldn't you say, Aidan?
Yeah, I feel like I've overleaked everything. Yet again, this is embarrassing. I've got to stop. But that's it. Again, as usual, find us on social media. You were able to have a look on our social media and steal the things that we're doing, not content, but ideas that we're sharing. Use that as much as you like. And if you've got any questions, as ever, drop us a message and let us know. As well, if you haven't got our 10 tips to improve your mentalism ebook as well, that's available, thesuccessfulmentalist.com/free. That's free as in no money, not free as in 3 said badly. I have to say it every time because people still get confused. But that's all in the show notes. Everything will be in the notes. Okay, so that'll mark the end of the episode. Remember, School of the Successful Mentalist applications are open. We did forget to mention when the applications are closing. That applications are closing on the 1st of July. So you have until the 1st of July 2020 to get your applications in, and we'll be selecting. We'll let you know within 48 hours of that whether you were successful, unsuccessful, and we'll go from there. But until next week, have a fantastic week. Get on social media or schedule your social media and have fun.